Hello guys, today we have Mr. Kumar with us. He has almost 25 years experience in IT and he has started his own company around 15 years ago. Now, sir, can you talk about your experience in IT sector working for 25 years?
Basically, like I am a chartered accountant and a cost accountant.
Okay,
I was consulting in Muscat.
okay,
Got introduced to IT systems at there.
yeah,
So came back to India in '96. In '96, I came back and went, and from '98 I shifted to IT.
okay.
So shifted to IT in '98. Did my Oracle course.
So what made you shift to IT in terms like you were
No,
started as
like when I was in financial consultancy,
Yeah.
I was the project manager of a project where we were computerizing the accounts of the Ministry of Electricity, the government of Oman.
Okay,
So I realized that the people who are designing the programs have no clue about what is required in the system. So I thought if I design
Yeah.
my system, if I learn how to program, I'll be able to design the systems better.
yeah,
So I came to India for a personal function,
yeah.
met somebody, he said if you do Oracle Financials it's good. So I went back, resigned from my job, came back in '98, got into Oracle Financials. Since '99 I'm in Oracle Financials.
Okay,
So I worked in Oracle Financials in Africa and the Middle East almost till 2010.
till 2010.
By that time my family came back to
okay.
India, so I was traveling. We stayed in Dubai, stayed in various places in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, Iran and all that. Came back and started a company of my own.
Yeah.
So I was always in ERP, so I started ERP consulting. That's how it started.
So, what inspired to start it? Like we think like I want to start something. You have something behind you, like you want to know about it. Like, for what made you inspired to start a company instead?
No, you see, what happens is at some point in time, if you have worked
Yeah.
for a number of years in an IT company, as you start becoming a manager, you
Yeah.
realize that you are lesser using technology and doing more of people management.
Okay.
I didn't want to leave technology. Though I'm a chartered accountant, I didn't want to leave technology.
Yeah.
So I realized if I start my own,
Yeah.
I can decide what I work and what I delegate to others.
Okay.
That's the simple
so
reason.
it started as a manager, then you thought. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
So, sir, I wanted to know about ERP systems and how they're very useful to business nowadays. Because everybody's talking about how to integrate ERP, and even in our college, we are learning about how to integrate ERP into our business system. So, how do you think it's really useful for a business nowadays?
ERP, in a very simple terms,
Yeah.
means a computerized system
Yeah.
that spans all the functions of an organization. Now let's
Okay.
take a simple organization. You have a sales department, you have a manufacturing department. Let's start with manufacturing.
Yeah.
You have a manufacturing department. There is a plan. The marketing says we need to sell, say this product in the market this
Yeah.
year. There's a product plan. Based on the plan, they make a projection that I'm going to sell this money this year. This is the turnover I'm going to have, and this. So you give the details to the manufacturing department.
Yeah.
The manufacturing department manufactures the product. It goes into the warehouse and then it is sold.
Okay.
Then it comes to the finance department that accounts for it, creates a financial statement, and that is the full gamut of the company.
Yeah.
Now, typically what would happen is you had a specialized manufacturing software doing manufacturing, a specialized planning software for material requirement planning,
Yeah.
a specialized software for selling, a specialized software for CRM or customer relationship management, a separate financial system.
So everything was individually.
They are
doing its
all
whole thing.
specialized islands of information.
Okay.
It was very difficult to integrate and get information quickly.
Yeah.
Then they came out with ERP. What is ERP? It's one platform that has all the functions built in it.
Okay. So that you can access it from one point.
Correct. So this is a single source of truth.
Okay.
So for example, the managing director would like to know what is holding my production today. He doesn't need to go to the production system. From his dashboard sitting here, he has a visibility of what is the projection of the revenue,
Yeah.
what is holding the sale, which customer is behaving like this, which region is
Yeah.
doing well, and how much revenue do I have, how much money I'm going to get, and what is everything in one view.
So it makes a company CEO or a manager easily access the data they have
Correct.
pertaining to a manufacturing or an
Any organization. So what happens, because information is defined in a uniform fashion,
Yeah.
you don't have one system defining receivables as accounts receivable,
Yeah.
another defining as trade receivables. Here,
Okay.
these things, this sort of confusion doesn't arise.
So we have like single truth, like how you told, like a single truth that we can know about.
It's a single source of truth. Think of it like this: it's a house with
Yeah.
multiple windows.
Yeah.
Everybody is looking at the house, the same house from a different window.
Okay.
The house is same. So the salesman is looking at it from a sales perspective,
Yeah.
the manufacturing from a manufacturing perspective, The accountant from a finance perspective, the CEO is on the top looking at the whole house, how it is working.
Okay, that makes it very easy. Even my professors made it hard to understand that. So, sir, for something like a company, like traditional companies, for example, we take something like a manufacturing company which has been manufacturing products for almost like past 40 to 50 years.
Okay.
So, how do you think it can integrate ERP into this system, and how it can like increase its production, managing capabilities, personal capabilities, and etc. Start like integrating ERP into the system. Is it easy to like? Does it have any problems integrating into a company?
No, there are no problems. The basic thing is the key reason. Let's take an example. Oracle Fusion and SAP are two tier 1 ERPs.
Okay.
You will find a company that is where they say the project was a success. Another company says the project was a failure.
Yeah.
This product is same. It's running in 100 companies around the world. Why? The main reason is if the company knows what are its requirements clearly. Like for example, these are my policies relating to procurement.
Yeah.
These are my policies relating to HR. These are my policies relating to sales.
Yeah.
These are my revenue finance policies. If the policies are very clearly defined, if the business wants what they want very clearly,
okay,
then the consultant can map the requirements to the ERP system.
Okay.
If the requirements are not clearly defined and the requirements keep on changing,
okay,
the project draws on for a very long time, and then the entrepreneur says, I can't spend any more on the ERP project, let's pull it out. So it's a failure.
So if you want to start, we need to set a defined goals or what we want to achieve this, we want to do this.
Correct. You should know what you want.
Yeah.
That's the case with anything, For example, before you embark on a journey, you should know what you want to do, what you want to do on day 1, what you want to do on day 10, what you want to do on day 20. If this is not clear, then you can't embark on the journey. It will not be a success. The same thing like that.
Yeah.
You need to plan. Say for example, you have an engineer who knows the business process very well of manufacturing.
Yeah.
If he sits with the consultant, he cannot do the work properly, daily work. We call it BAU, business as usual.
Yeah.
So the CEO has to decide that out of these experts, this person from manufacturing, this person from HR, this person will be the core team who will interact with the ERP consultants and develop the system.
Okay.
They should know everything about the company, but they should not do business as usual.
Okay.
They should dedicate time.
So what do you think it goes to integrate a ERP system in a company, like in terms of a software, or else anything that's needed to be upgraded there physically, or else any machineries that need to be made to talk with ERP system? So what needs to be integrated from a business side for ERP to work?
No, today most of the systems that you have,
Yeah.
I'm talking of today's systems,
Okay.
most of the machines have something called processor logical controllers, PLCs.
Okay.
Now, if you have, these are very specific to the manufacturer.
Okay.
If you have a Siemens press, it has a Siemens PLC.
Okay. So it has only its own processing unit, like.
So that processing unit runs on a language.
Okay.
There is something called an API.
Okay.
So it's a application programmable interface.
Yeah.
So that system gives data. Now the ERP has to be programmed to receive the data.
Okay.
Say for example that you have a machine that you put in all the say for example it's a bread machine. Simple example.
Yeah, simple.
You put dough, you put yeast, you put water. It gives out bread on that side. There is a cutting machine.
Yeah.
It cuts and then packaging, and then it goes to packaging.
Yes.
So let us suppose that there is a PLC attached to that. You can monitor, if this batch of bread did not come out properly, was the temperature correct?
Okay.
Was the mixture of water and the dough correctly mixed? Was the quantity correctly provided? Was there some impurity in the water because of which created a problem? Was the yeast properly fermented? All those things.
So the machine can communicate with the
ERP. The ERP can record it, and then there can be a dashboard for the manager that says that this batch failed because in ERP lingo it's called cradle to grave traceability. Meaning, if let's suppose supposing a batch of today's bread was dispatched to say Ratnadeep supermarket, and it was all returned back saying the bread is completely spoiled.
Okay.
So the company should be able to trace that if this batch of bread spoiled, it spoiled because of what? Was the flour bought from the milk bad? Was the yeast already expired? Was the water bad? Was the temperature bad?
Okay.
It did happen that the power shut down in the middle during the process.
Okay.
So that's called cradle to grave traceability from the raw material.
Everything that is going in and coming out and each step between.
Correct. And great advantage is Many a time you will see a company running for 40 years.
Yeah.
If you ask them what is the profit you are making on one packet of bread, they can't tell you, because they know that okay, I am spending money, getting something, selling something, making some money. But with this, you can actually trace if it's costing you 10 rupees to raw material.
Yeah.
You're selling it at 20. Your cost of goods sold is 11,
Yeah.
including packaging. Your marketing cost is 15. Your selling price is 20. So you're making 5 rupees or 4 rupees per packet of bread.
So for example, like recently my grandfather is like starting a company. Yeah, he was thinking to bring in new machines. Till now it was labor, like making with labor and stuff. He was thinking of bringing a system where it auto produces. So I myself was in the meeting trying to help my grandfather understand the system and all. The one thing like which made me not understand, like the systems, each system does a different thing. But how to know that it all works together, and how does ERP aid it? Because I have a really like, there is like system which packages, which manufactures, but everything flows together. And in the middle, it needs humans to make sure that every single thing is going in accordance,
Right.
with feeding, with collecting the things at the end. So how do you think, does humans also come into factor into this
Yeah.
ERP thing?
So basically, now let's take your example.
Yeah.
Now you have a machine. Now you have a machine that takes in it machine 1 to machine 2 to machine 3 and finally package.
Automatically,
Automatically, right? And then there is human being in between taking it from machine 1 to machine 2.
Yeah.
So now what happens? First of all, you know that if looking at the thing, your grandfather knows to produce 10 packets, I need how much of raw material.
Yeah.
So you plan the material requirement first.
Yeah.
Then you plan the manpower requirement. Manpower requirement is there is a schedule, there is a timetable where or an attendance sheet that says who came when, where, what. That there is a maintenance module where you can track if a machine goes on maintenance, what happens. Now, for example, so then you can have PLCs installed in each of these machines that actually monitor and give you real-time data to your grandfather that says that this machine worked for 8 hours and then there was a breakdown, so it couldn't work for 2 hours. Now that machine depends on this machine, so that machine was also idle for 2 hours. The cost of, even if the machine is idle, you are paying interest to the bank for keeping for the loan that you bought to use to buy that machine, right? So there is an interest cost. So what happens in ERP is you can actually think of a system where you can tag all expenditures to one thing. For example, I can have the cost of my grandfather who is managing everything is apportioned to this machine, this machine, this machine at a percentage. Your accountant who sits in the office making notes, even his cost is associated with each thing in a proportion. So what happens? You know that the cost of manufacturing this bag of things is not only the cost of raw materials and the cost of labor. It includes the electricity cost, it includes the time spent by your grandfather managing it, the accountant accounting for it, the sales guy who took those packets to the various supermarkets and put it there. Everything is finally related to, it's called cost of goods sold. It's called COGS. So it all goes to COGS. So when you decide to sell, you know that if I am making a 15% markup and the COGS is 100, I need to sell for minimum 115, otherwise I will not make sense.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, the business is for making money, not for anything else. So money doesn't mean, the basic mistake that everybody makes is, if I sell 4,000 rupees, if I sell at the rate of 115, if I sell 20 bags, I made 3,300 rupees, right? My money is not 3,300.
It's your
if I am making only 15 rupees per bag, my revenue is only 300 rupees. This is what I made. 3,000 was cost of raw materials. Now out of that day, if 2 days laborer did not come, I have to deduct that also, because he was sick and I had to pay for him. I didn't have a replacement.
I have one more doubt in this. Does ERP account the human error?
Yeah, so you have to build for it. For example, say for example that you had planned that in your, it's called routing. Routing means you have a set of activities, that's a route. So machine 1 starts, 2 laborers get added, this is the cost of the laborer, the feeder cost, all those things are routing. So what happens is, you said after A comes B, B comes C, C comes D. Now if a laborer falls sick and you put a new laborer, the cost of the additional laborer also goes to the job sheet that makes that product. So your COGS goes up from 100 rupees to 105 rupees, because one more laborer, this laborer could
additionally we have to pay him.
So your profitability for this batch reduces from 15 to 10.
So it does also take account of the human
Yeah.
resource.
So what happens with ERP is you don't need to, most of the ERPs today,
Yeah.
they are modular. You don't need to go for the whole hog in one shot. You can decide to say the manufacturing part I want to record it first.
Okay.
So
Then integrate the account system.
then you bring in the accounting system from the same vendor,
Yeah.
it integrates. Then like that, you can pieces by pieces you can build.
So I had one of the major questions I had is like, does it take human resources into account? Because
Yeah.
everything is computerized. We cannot account for some human mistake that takes
No,
place.
it's not like that. Even the human mistake has to be, please understand.
recorded, right?
The system is an idiot.
Yeah.
What you give is what you will get.
Okay, so the inputs matter more.
So for example, if you have a say attendance through biometric system.
Yeah.
So if supposing laborer A goes in, he checks in and then 8 hours is booked there. If the laborer falls sick and comes out and a new laborer goes in,
Yeah.
even his 8 hours is booked to the same job.
So the inputs matter to
Correct.
the system.
Correct.
Okay.
The system is an idiot. You will have to tell the system what you did to get the output.
Okay.
The ERP, what is it doing? It's giving a platform where everything is getting recorded. In one view, you can see everything.
So, according to this, I had some misinterpretation. Do you think there are any other misinterpretations pertaining to ERP systems?
No, we have a very common thing that we say.
Yeah.
The machine will make coffee for you, but you have to go and get the coffee. The coffee will not come to you.
Yeah, generally business, like entrepreneurs and business owners have a misinterpretation. Like I myself had like, I cannot think about like human resource and all that. But now I got to know about it. Do you think there are any other things that we have to take in account? Like I, as an entrepreneur who's outside the system, who doesn't know anything about the ERP, can make mistake thinking about this, my ERP can do this, ERP can do that. So do you think there are certain things we might misinterpret about the system?
No, you see, the point is, as I said, if you know what you want,
Yeah.
the system can be designed around what you want.
Yeah.
You should know what you want first. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
If you, let me tell you, 90% people don't know what they want.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
the
like
misinterpretation.
they have a broad idea. Okay, I want to make cement bags. I want to sell cement.
Yeah.
Their thinking ends there. They don't know. They need to break it further.
Yeah.
That okay, fine. I want to make this grade cement used for this thing. So what do I need? Okay, I need raw materials. From where will I get the raw materials? The lime will come from this quarry. Okay, fine. The lime will. Where will I store it? In which markets will I sell it to? Now, what is the life of the cement that I'm going to have? What warehouses am I going to maintain?
Okay.
Am I going to maintain warehouse only in Hyderabad or also in Visakhapatnam and even in Rajahmundry? Who will man it? How many people will record? If you know what you want,
Then
first you have to design your requirements very clearly.
Okay.
The business requirements are clearly given. Any ERP,
Yeah.
maximum what will happen, the ERP will not be able to map the requirements properly. If it's a small ERP,
Okay.
then they will have to design the system to map it. If it's a big ERP, already all those things are there. Then the next question is, how much budget do I have to do it?
Yeah.
Am I willing to spare my working resources to work with the team to implement the ERP? Most of the people, the small companies fail because they have suppose there is one guy manning this machine.
Yeah.
He is an expert in the machine. But then he will not be able to sit with the consultant to tell what I do.
So you won't know what its process is, how it works,
So
what
see,
it needs.
he will spend half a day with us.
Yeah.
Based on that understanding, you will start designing.
Yeah.
At the end, the owner will say, no, this is not what I wanted. I was thinking of this. So you go back to the drawing board.
So an entrepreneur needs to set his goals of what he wants to achieve. He needs to give you time on set regulation to build a system so that you can integrate it properly to pertaining to a business.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like this, if you know what you want,
Yeah.
you can tell the other person what you want,
Yeah.
then he can design the system the way you want,
Yeah.
then the system will work.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want and give a vague requirement, that's how it will be.
Yeah. Okay. Now I properly understood. So sir, now that we have briefly understood about ERP and how to integrate, what do you think AI is starting to play, like AI system started to play like in terms of ERP systems? What kind of shape it is going through because of AI right now?
So you see, like this is exactly, for example, now let's take from the entrepreneur's perspective. The entrepreneur says, I want to build a cement plant.
Yeah.
You tell this to AI will ask you, okay, fine, where do you want to put the plant? That's the first question. So from a designing requirement perspective, it helps the entrepreneur to basically in a very, very proper fashion design the requirements and the questions that needs to be passed on to the consultant. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Now look at from the system perspective. Now we are actually building a system now
Okay.
where now what would happen earlier was you had a business intelligence system, a dashboard that the entrepreneur would see. Now
Okay.
you are the entrepreneur.
Okay.
Now you would like to know how many hours did this plant work.
Yeah.
You would start with the profitability. Okay, we had a batch today. How many of the yesterday's batch have been sold? How many are remaining? Which salesman is performing well? And then, like for example, if this batch is not going, go back to the manufacturing to see how we can improve it.
Yeah.
Trend analysis to see can we increase the product mix to something else.
Yeah.
Supposing you do an analysis in the supermarket and come to know that grey cement is not getting sold, white cement is being sold,
Okay.
or Portland cement is being sold. So you do an analysis to see what I need to change on my marketing side or the development side.
Okay.
These things are all used to happen through something called dashboards. The consultant would design the dashboard. Then if you wanted a new dashboard, you would have to go back to the consultant to do it, and then you would have to drag, drop and do it. We are designing a system where you say that I would like to know the revenue for the quarter ending March of 25.
Okay.
I want you to group the data by region, salesperson and product. So the system will design a chart and give it to you.
So basically, does the analytic part for
Correct.
you?
Correct. Then what happens? Then you say, fine, now I can see that the Hyderabad region has performed very well.
Yeah.
Can you tell me in the Hyderabad region which sales depot had the best sales?
Yeah.
It will slice that information further.
Okay.
Now in this, which salesman was the best guy who got the jobs? So basically what's happening is,
It is interpreting the data for you and giving the results back.
correct. So in a human readable and
Yeah.
human, so I can talk to the system and say I need this information, it gives that. Then I say no, I don't want this. I want this information in a pie chart.
Yeah, I myself who doesn't understand data properly as an entrepreneur can ask the system to get me data in my
Correct.
how I understand
Correct.
it.
Now it's called a heat map.
Yeah.
What's a heat map? Say for example, I want a heat map to say which parts of Hyderabad is consuming my products better.
Yeah.
So I want a heat map of product consumption for Hyderabad. So
Yeah.
it will give you that, for example, Jubilee Hills is consuming more of premium bread, whereas say Old City is consuming basic bread,
Yeah.
and say Nacharam is consuming say normal bread, and then say even up premium regions of high tech city are going for say wheat bread and
Okay.
cholesterol ABCD. So you can get a heat map product wise,
Okay.
or you can say for example which supermarket is giving you better business, which supermarket is not giving you better business. So you don't need first of all, what happens is the AI can read all the data in all the tables across the ERP.
Okay.
So you need not design a dashboard. The consultant need not. The dashboard need not be limited by the imagination of the consultant.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, with whatever is there in the system, AI can read all data. You can define additional sources.
Yeah.
Now let's suppose you have an apparel business. You want to know the current trends. So you can actually integrate with Instagram and Facebook and all.
Yeah.
It'll do it's called sentimental analysis. You do the analysis of what is the common thing that's commonly being sold, and you can do it. Now this can also do predictive analysis. Predictive analysis means, let's suppose you're selling cement.
Yeah.
The rainy season of construction goes down, the cement consumption goes down.
Yeah.
So everybody knows it. So you can do a predictive analysis, looking at the past history and the future trends. You can say that this is the consumption level that we need to increase once the rains are over,
Okay.
because the construction will pick up again. Or based on a demand of a particular apparel, the apparel demand can be there. So it can also integrate with social media. The system obviously can integrate with social media.
So we can also integrate with data collecting companies also to get data, right?
Correct.
In terms of, I did a recent project on a football football team, Manchester City. They have the systems to process the data, but they collect data from the outside. So
Right.
they can integrate it like that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Say for example, there is something called sentimental analysis in stock market.
Yeah.
So let's take an example that I want to buy a stock. So I can actually go to Twitter or X, Facebook, Instagram, and look at say for example, what are people normally talking about?
Okay.
Say Infosys. Then you can do an analysis of Infosys. It will tell you what is the future stock expectation. This is the current price. This is the future. So you could trade at this price.
Okay.
You can't trust it for trading.
Yeah, but then we can get an idea about it.
It gives you an idea.
So sir, we'll move on to the next question.
Yeah.
So basically, I myself am a person who is not known about IT or information systems, etc. and etc. If I wanted to start a IT company in terms of basically ERP or any other system, do you think I can do it? And what will it take me to do? What should I learn about it?
To start a company, you don't need to know any technology. You should know
Yeah.
where to get business from.
Yeah.
Understand, the most important thing is getting business.
Yeah.
There are so many companies in India. In Hyderabad, if you go to a gully, you will find so many companies developing software who are not able to sell to anybody.
Okay.
It's the marketing that's the key here.
Okay.
Two things. You should have a generic idea about what is required in the market. If the market is talking AI and AI agents
Yeah.
and AI bots and all that, you cannot talk of some old technology like COBOL and Pascal.
Yeah.
Then you are out of time. If you have a basic understanding of the system, of what is the current market, the most important thing of business is you should have the perseverance. You see, I'll tell you why businesses fail. It's not that the product is not good. It's not that they can't do it.
Yeah.
After 1 or 2 years of failure, they decide to move out.
Yeah.
If they had stuck on for maybe 2 more months, maybe they would have got a big job.
Yeah.
Maybe, but it's perseverance also that's important. So the way I look at it is like this, like if you are getting funding from somebody, fantastic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do a basic job, have some financial stability,
Yeah.
then follow your dreams. If your dream is to start a company, go ahead, start a company.
Yeah.
And let me tell you the most important thing, you don't need to know programming because the programming language of today is English.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I'm sure you have heard of these AI things like Cursor AI and all that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Claude and all that.
Yes.
They write programs for you.
Okay.
You can ask it to write a program for you. You don't know C#. You can ask it to write a program for you in C#. It will write a program for you and give the output in C#. You should know what you want.
What we can market to.
You should know what you want to the ultimate detail. Like for example,
Yeah.
when I click a button, this is what should happen.
So what might be the few questions we need to ask ourselves to know about it?
No, that's what I'm saying. You start chatting with a chat bot or a GPT, it will start elaborating. Supposing you say that, let's take an example. Now you want to develop a system. Let's take what would you want to do? Give me an example. I will elaborate that.
Maybe start a new AI company in India, from India.
Okay, so what do you know? That's okay, fine. If you ask this question,
Pertaining to an industry. Not
so
yet,
if you say I want to start an AI company,
yeah, it's a broad question.
the GPT will ask you in which industry.
Yeah.
Then you will say, tell me what industry. No, let's answer. Let's imagine. Let's do a contracting.
Yeah. For example, in the manufacturing industry, because I am also using it.
Okay, so you want to create an AI thing in the manufacturing.
Yeah.
And what do you want to achieve with that?
Efficiency, cost.
Of doing what?
Like processes, trimming.
Which process?
Yeah, that's what we need to ask.
No, so that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
let me put it in a very simple term. If you have a 5-year-old brother
Yeah.
and you wanted to explain an IT system to him, how much detail you will tell,
Yeah.
that much detail you have to tell the AI.
Okay.
You cannot assume even one.
So AI works on our input.
Correct. The AI, you have to tell the AI. In fact, there is a stream of study called prompt engineers today.
Yeah, I heard about it.
These people there is no skill. These are companies making money.
Yeah.
It's basically nothing. You can do some Googling or ChatGPT and understand what's prompt engineering.
Yeah.
You should set the context. Say let's take your example. You tell the ChatGPT you are an expert in designing business solutions and guiding, mentoring and entrepreneurs in developing business solutions. This is my plan. This is my view. This is my vision. I would like to do these things.
Okay.
Can you tell me what to do? It will start as it talks. You keep on making it bigger,
Yeah.
and then finally say create a prompt with this to create a code for me. So it will develop. So it gets you the prompt. You put it in another AI. It will create the mobile app for you, and there you have it. The mobile app is ready for you.
So the inputs, we need to understand what we need, how we want to, what is the problem we want to solve there.
I'll give you a classic example. I was listening to a podcast about procrastination just 2 days back.
Okay.
So that guy was telling, one guy came and said that, like I want to reduce weight.
Yeah.
So that guy said, why? All my friends are thin and I am fat. No, why?
Yeah.
Then he said, I'm not able to, if I'm thin, I'll be able to do things. He said, why?
Yeah.
Finally, the guy said, I have a 4-year-old kid who keeps running around and I cannot run behind him.
Okay.
So I want to reduce weight and enjoy my time with my son. Because once he grows up and goes to school, I will not be able to. So that's the thing. So just as the why keeps on coming, you should keep on asking questions.
Okay.
Or if you don't feel like writing down all this, chat with the chatbot. The chat GPT is your friend. You can ask whatever you want. It will not even judge you that you are asking
Yeah.
stupid questions. It's not a human being, right? So, and it is very polite. Even if you say something, I'm asking something stupid, it will
Yeah.
say, no, it's not a stupid question, it's a very valid question. You keep on asking. You need not, even to clarify your thought,
Yeah.
chatting with ChatGPT is a very good idea.
Gives us basically the inputs and what we need. Till we get the last answer to the question, we need to go till there.
You should be satisfied that fine,
Yeah.
okay, this is what I actually wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
It could be, for example, why did I start a company? I'll tell you.
Okay.
I used to work for an Indian IT company.
Yes.
I like coding, I like to get my hands dirty.
Yes.
I realized being a manager, I was doing nothing.
Okay.
I realized if I start on my own, I
Yeah.
can decide what I will do and what somebody else will do.
Okay.
That's why I started a company.
So till now you do your own codes and everything.
Yes, the AI, I'm only developing myself.
Oh. So how is it going, sir? Like in terms.
It's okay. We have done the basic AI. Now we have done the basic prompts.
Yeah.
It's generating a prompt.
Okay.
Now we are training the model to actually make it more generic.
Okay.
So that you ask anything. The idea is to make a ERP based on AI.
Okay.
Let me tell you. For example,
So this is the new trend, making the.
correct everything. So for example, let's suppose now what happens is, now let me tell you what is the version 1. You say hi, say XAI.
Yeah.
I want to make a payment to this vendor today. So the system immediately brings out, says these are the bills outstanding. I'm
Yeah.
talking from an ERP background. These are the bills outstanding. Which one would you like to pay? So you say fine, pay number, invoice number, this. Now the next question is, you have 3 bank accounts. Which bank account would you like to? It's like an AI enabled bot. It's not a normal chat bot where it's asking a set of fixed questions.
No.
It's changing based on your language. It processes and does the thing separately.
Okay.
Take it one step further. The manager will be told these bills are becoming due in the next 5 days. Which one would you like to pay?
Okay.
It goes in the database, picks it up, shows it to him. He says fine. Now just pay this one and this one.
Yeah.
What do we do with this one? Send a reminder to accounts department that on this date they are supposed to pay this. Or it tells you this material in your godown is going low. As per your reorder rules,
Yeah.
you should have this much quantity, you are already low on this. It goes into the news website and says there is a
Okay.
war in China, so this will get delayed even further. So start ordering now.
So okay. Yeah. Now
So-
I understand.
So let me tell you a very simple thing. Do you know what's a co-pilot in Microsoft? What exactly is a co-pilot?
I have no idea.
Co-pilot, we think, is a person who sits beside the pilot.
Okay.
It's not that.
In terms of that, okay.
In a plane, the co-pilot is supposed to be a senior person who guides the pilot how to fly.
Yeah.
So what's a Microsoft co-pilot? What they found was, if a doctor does an analysis of a disease, they have 65% probability of success.
Okay.
If an AI does the analysis of the same disease, they have a 50% probability of success. But if the AI checked diseases are checked by the doctor,
Okay.
there is a 95% probability of success. So AI will not replace humans. AI will
Work together with.
Correct.
Make your work easy for you.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. I had a really good time talking to you about this, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for giving me this time.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.